This is it, episode 549, No Laugh Track Podcast here in Minneapolis, Minnesota at Acme Comedy Company. My name is Justin Severson. Each and every week, talking to the headliner, well, most weeks, including this week. Second time here with me, Greg Warren is here.
Justin, good to see you, man. A lot of paperwork on that side of the desk.
I have a printer at home that cooperates about 50% of the time. A lot of times I hit print, I'll send something to it, and then I run downstairs and it's just not doing anything, and I get real frustrated. So then I'll send it to my wife, who works from home, and then from her work computer, she will print stuff out for me. And if it's more than 2 pages, which it was today, she's like, what is this?
Man,
What are you doing?
There's not. I know everything really on the internet that's interesting about me, and it's an index card, buddy. Like you're it's overkill. There's some real boring stuff in there.
What I did? Your name is Matt Rife. There's tons of stuff here.
Oh yeah, you got the you got the wrong guy. I would have thought that would have been evident in that I don't look like a supermodel.
Oh, come on, Greg. We're here to talk all about that. No, as I told you before we started, I saw the show last night. I bailed as soon as it was over to beat the crowd to the bathroom because I'd had a few beers.
Okay.
That's the
all
real
right.
truth.
It's fine, man.
I'd like to be first in line in the bathroom.
Yep.
Giving my secrets away, which may be not a good idea, but...
No, that's. I have a feeling you're not going to be first in line next time.
No, I'll be knocking. Please,
many people has watched this deal. Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Show last night was fantastic.
Oh,
you
thanks,
were hilarious. And I'm going to start out with a compliment and say that I am. Let's see. Last time I heard you or saw you here was a little over 2 years ago.
Yeah.
You were here January of 2022.
I remember, yeah.
Since then, you put a special out.
Yeah.
Which I have seen.
Oh, thanks for watching that, man.
Of course. And
yeah.
here's the compliment. Tons of new material.
Yeah, I think I'm close on a new one. Sort of.
When you were here, I want to say, when you were here in January 2022, I listened back to it, of course, and one of the things you said was, I think I'm pretty close to recording.
Yeah, I'm about like where I was then.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because that was January 22.
Yeah.
And we were going to record it that summer, and
Okay.
Nate Bargatze directed it, and Nate just couldn't find the right date, so we pushed it to the fall. But I thought I could have recorded it that summer, so...
His success got in the way of you recording earlier, is what you're saying.
Nate, just for whatever reason, he felt like going to a sold-out 3 arena shows instead of directing my my special. But
I think my wife saw him twice in a year span.
yeah, he's great, man.
Uh-huh.
I mean, you talk about putting out material. That guy, it's an amazing pace.
Yeah, and it was 2 different tours, yeah.
Yeah. So now I think we sort of just spoke the other day. I think I'm going to try to record something in November. So I feel like it's, if somebody had a thing and they were like, hey, we're doing this thing and we need somebody to do a special tomorrow night, I'm like, I can do it.
Okay.
But I would like 6 months to sort of put the finishing touches on it. And it's the funnest part about comedy. It is the funnest time of stand-up comedy is that last 6 months of getting an hour together. Because it's like it's a totally different skill set. I mean, it's like you've got kind of where you want to go. It's just polish it, make it better, extend bits. You're like, hey, this is a thing on Walgreens. Maybe there's a couple more beats on Walgreens or.
I gotta hop in right now.
Yeah.
I'm so glad you said that because first of all, I heard that joke last night. It is phenomenal.
Oh, thanks.
But
man.
even more excited that you brought this up because I listened to you on Mike Birbiglia's podcast.
Yeah.
From last summer, basically. Yeah. And the two of you talked about kind of the beginnings of that joke.
Yeah. I brought that up on Birbig's podcast, and Mike is a guy that I have. Before he had a podcast dealing with that sort of thing, like he's a guy that I've sort of exchanged ideas with for 20 years.
That's so cool.
He called me, that was last week. He's like, hey man, you got 10 minutes. I got something. And I was like, yeah, man. And then, he's always got very good advice. And it's funny because I gave some of his advice back to him the other day. Because Birbig's is, he's so grounded and he's so philosophical. I don't know if those are sort of the antithesis of each other, aren't they? But anyways, no, he just whenever I talk about something, he's like, well, how do you make it more about yourself? Like, what you're talking about this external thing, but how do you make it about you and your relationship with that thing? And I struggle with that. Mike's great at that. And sometimes I don't even accomplish it. But Mike pitched something the other day, and I was like, and I didn't do it to be a jerk. I was like, hey, man, I think there needs to be more Mike Birbiglia in that. And he was like, you're right. I was like, well, I'm not right. I'm just repeating what you've said to me.
Interesting.
But yeah, getting back to like, it's such a fun time to just have to finish jokes. And I hope between now and November, when I plan on recording, there's 4 or 5 brand new ideas in there. But what I think will make it the special that I want it to be is like, hey, can we extend these things a little bit more?
The point that the two of you were making on that podcast with him was that, maybe instead of focusing on your worst joke, like, well, this is the one that needs the attention. How about focus on the best one? That's the guy. Which I thought was so interesting.
Man, I remember that conversation, and I've repeated it to people, young comics, and we saw the show last night. I really took that to heart on that. I have a joke about high school fishing teams.
Yes.
And it sort of pretty early was like, well, I think this might be one of the more memorable. People come up to afterwards like, I like the fishing thing. And I'm like, well, don't. For a while, I was just like, okay, that's done. Let's make that much bigger. Introduce new characters in it. Get it to the next place. So, yeah, Birbiglia has he has a ton of really good advice.
From what the two of you were mentioning on his podcast of the Walgreens joke, like I heard some of that last night, but then it seemed to go on for significantly longer, which is just great.
Yeah, I'm
really strong.
Thanks, man. Thanks, buddy. Yeah, it's almost like 2 different jobs. I remember when I finished the last special, because you're spending that last 6 months to 9 months polishing, extending, already existing ideas, and then you record, and then you start over, and you're like, well, I don't, this isn't what I do. Like, this is not even the same job, coming up with new ideas, like out of nothing. I don't do this. I haven't done this in 9 months. I don't think I know how to do this anymore.
Sure.
It's just kind of claw and scratch. And now it's like, okay, I think I'm at the place. There needs to be some new stuff. But
is there anxiety for you going on stage anymore, especially if you're about to record?
No, I don't think so. I mean, maybe if I'm recording like something big, like a slight bit of anxiety, but not so much with doing an hour special, because usually you're shooting, it's a long time, and you're shooting a couple of shows.
Sure.
So you kind of you settle in. I mean, I think maybe on a couple of specials that first few minutes, I was like, I could tell I'm a little bit pushing a little hard or something like that. But back when like, if I did a late night set, it's been a while, but there's some anxiety, because it's like it's 5 minutes.
It's one shot.
Yeah, it's one shot. They're not saying do it over. Man, there's
we're gonna bring the crowd back in.
Yeah, it is. There's a little bit of that magic in specials of editing, but I remember the last one I had a joke. I did the first show and it went really well, and I was like, I kind of got it. And I had a lot of comedian friends there, and they were like, hey, you missed these 2 things, and one of them I knew I missed. I was like, I just flubbed the word. I just said it wrong.
Sure.
And then the other one, I actually didn't realize I said something that I said. So I was like, okay, all I got to do in the next hour is fix those 2 things and have fun, and we'll see. So it was going great, and I fixed the first thing pretty easily. And then the second thing it was deep in the set, and it was just a long day. I was already feeling really good that I kind of had it, and I was just out of gas, and I was a little giddy, and I just couldn't get it. I said the line, I'm like, blah, 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 and then I just had to stop the show. I'm like, guys, this is really awkward, but I'm gonna have to do that line again.
No kidding.
I'm gonna have to do that line again. All right. And then I did it, and I flubbed it 4 times, probably like 4 times. I flubbed the line, and I don't want people to think like there's this much, tinkering with like what you see is usually what you're getting. But on that one, I had to get the line, so it was like 4 or 5 times. So, and the crowd's just, they're loving it. I mean, it's because they're just seeing me completely screw up, and they're part of this, so they're laughing like crazy. So then on like the 6th time I landed, and they just go crazy. It's almost a standing ovation. Okay.
I bet.
We'll cut to the first edit of the thing. They they're editing together, and that has to be in, and they leave the insane reaction there, and I'm like, guys, it's not that strong of a joke. Like we can't
No.
we can't have me get a standing ovation on the 30th best joke of the special. Like we're gonna have to tone it down a little bit in the edit. And I know I'm sort of letting people behind the curtain, but I was like, we can't do this.
That is the best.
It's because then now they're not going to believe anybody's laughing at anything because they'll be like, obviously nobody reacted like, no, actually that is what happened, but you don't understand the backstory.
Oh my God, that's hilarious. That reminds me of when I was much younger, as single guy, being out with like other single guys, and we would see like some hot girl laughing so hard at some dude, and we'd probably be jealous. But we'd always be like, "There's no way he's that funny. There's no way she's laughing way too hard. If we were all there, no way that's
nobody's
funny.
that good.
Nobody.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fantastic. Well, thanks for the look behind the curtain there.
Yeah,
It's funny.
Yeah, that's now people are gonna think I'm a fraud.
Oh, completely. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Fraud, Greg Warren. I'm glad you mentioned it. I had caught wind of this, I don't know, several months ago or whatever, but you mentioned it on stage last night, the little bit of, what would you call it, blowback from some nurses
Oh,
that you
yeah,
got?
Yeah, I did some jokes about...
on the salesman.
On the salesman about, the nursing community and nurse practitioners in particular, and a lot of them enjoyed it, and a lot of them did not. Like I got some hate mail. Like they came after me pretty hard, and I made a joke about it, which I was kind of, but I really do like nurses, and they've been like extremely good to me and my family. But yeah.
I love the fact that it ended up on a website called nurses.org.
No way.
Oh, yes
no
way.
way.
Yes way, Greg.
Oh no.
Oh, buddy.
Did it really?
You didn't see this.
No.
Oh yeah.
no.
We'll give you a quick once over here.
Yeah.
Greg Warren, a comedian from St. Louis, has recently made some nurse practitioners and others in the healthcare community upset after a recent set mocked nurse practitioners as shady and claimed that they are only allowed to practice because, quote, we are running low on doctors.
Yeah.
The comedian's comment section quickly exploded into a vast pool of varied reactions, including those who agreed with Warren.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
And then it just goes on and on. It has quotes from quite a few posts,
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. I want to ask, did you see that coming at all based on
No.
comments after shows?
Maybe I should have, because I did have one nurse, one or two when I was doing the jokes of developing the material. They're
Okay.
this is wrong. I can't believe you said that. I'm like, well, this is a crazy person. Obviously, I'm kidding. By the way, I don't think a lot of this stuff letter to the law. It's like a semi-truth that I don't know. I don't want to try to explain my sense of humor. You either are
Right.
into it or not. Yeah,
Yeah.
I have some feeling of it, but I also know everything that I say on stage could be argued against, and in a court of law, I would lose most of the statements. In a court of law. I would lose almost every case if we evaluated each joke. So yeah, I didn't know that.
Some commenters pointed out that Warren did land on some troubling points about healthcare in general, such as low pay and shortage of primary care providers, which is exactly why supporting
Yeah.
NPs is crucial.
Yeah, I didn't talk about any of that. I think they were maybe reading into that a little bit.
No.
Again,
No.
they're
No.
nobody should take anything I say very seriously. That's hilarious. I didn't.
Have you got any no representatives of Walgreens have been showing up at the shows going, "Hey,
Man, I had one that kind of. I had a couple ex-Walgreens employees that thought it was funny.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
They didn't take you to task."
Yeah. No, I say some nice things about Walgreens
Absolutely.
too. Yeah.
Absolutely.
I say it. And it's part of what Biggs was telling me. I'm like, I need to think about what I really like. I say you guys probably think I hate Walgreens because I love them. That's why I'm so hard on them.
Yeah.
I'm the most loyal. I'm a very loyal Walgreens customer. I go a lot.
Yeah, just you're trying to give them simple improvements. That's all.
Yeah, yeah. I guess that's one way you could look at it.
That's
Yeah.
right.
I mean, I look forward to the doing this podcast in a couple years and have you reading the comments on WalgreensWorkers.org.
I have an alert set for it. I
Yeah,
can't
okay,
wait
good,
to see that.
good.
Yeah, absolutely. Another thing you mentioned on stage. Well, people that know anything about you should know that you were a All-American college wrestler, correct?
Yeah.
Dad was a coach?
High school coach. Yeah, he was my high school coach. Yeah.
You have lots of fantastic material about your wrestling career and your coach and all that stuff.
Yeah, thanks, man.
So good.
Thanks,
So good.
thanks, dude. Because it was maybe the first one where, like, I got that early in my career. Like, I found wrestling material early in my career, and I just assumed it was gone. You know, like I did a special that I talked a lot about farming, and I'm like, I'm not sure I really need to return to farming. Or I did the last one on peanut butter. I'm like, I don't think I need to slip in a peanut butter joke. Like, I kind of hit that.
Yeah.
But I was like, man, I'm a different comedian than I was when I first wrote the wrestling stuff. And I'm like, I wonder if there's more on the bone there. And that's I'm really glad that you recognize it because I'm having a lot of fun with it. And I wasn't sure I could. I wasn't sure there's anything left. You know.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and that's another one where it's like
quotable too. The stuff like you go home and you keep repeating. One of your
thanks,
lines.
man.
Yeah,
Thanks. Yeah, that
absolutely.
That one, I'm having a ton of fun with that part of the act. Thanks for saying that.
Good,
yeah.
good. One of the things you mentioned is cauliflower ear.
Yeah.
And I remember the first time ever seeing that, probably like in middle school, junior high, whatever you call it, like seeing the first kid that had that. I was like, what the is wrong with
Did you grow up in Minnesota?
Yeah.
Yeah. And wrestling's really big up here. So
yeah, we had I went to a very small school in St. Paul, but we actually that was one of the few sports we had a very strong program. We had a state champion. And everything.
Yeah.
But I remember thinking like, what is wrong with that dude's ears?
Yeah.
So you have one that kind of shows it, right?
Yeah, one.
And not the other.
No, I mean, I think there may be a little there, but it's not noticeable. But yeah, this one definitely. Yeah.
I found an article today. I looked up. I was like, what would be interesting to talk about with cauliflower ears?
Why don't you ask the people over at nurses.org? I'm sure
they listen. They'll give me the feedback I need in a week or so. I found a thing and it said like remember back in the 80s or 90s. You could assume somebody was a badass and tough because they were covered in tattoos.
Yeah.
And now everybody has a tattoo.
Yeah.
I have 3 tattoos.
Yeah.
I'm not a badass, right? I mean, you can't see them from what I'm wearing, but it's everybody has tattoos that are my age, right?
Right.
And the article said that's not the sign of being a badass. Cauliflower ears are a sign of being a badass.
I mean, I would think if you have a cauliflower ear, you've at least been in some form of, combat. That's like physical combat on a daily basis.
Yep.
I think it's boxers get it, rugby players like the guys on the line in rugby get it.
I can see that. Yeah.
But wrestlers, I think more. And now it's like kind of celebrated just because of MMA. It's
one of the articles I wrote was a guy who's an MMA fighter currently, and the story was about how bad he wanted them growing up.
Oh, really?
That when his ear first got damaged, he was happy, didn't like the pain that he had for weeks on end, but that he wasn't exactly trying to hide it and to get it, once it gets damaged, the key is to get it more, right? To rough it up more, and then it gets more.
When I got it, I was in college. I mean, I didn't get it. I got a little bit in high school, but not noticeable.
Yeah.
And then in college, it's just a much more physical sport. And yeah, I think you have headgear, and I think I didn't wear my headgear in practice, like.
And you're more likely to get injured and get these scars when you're not wearing the headgear.
They're to protect your ears. In college, and college wrestling is just way more physical. It's just like they're just beating on you. So I got it pretty quick in college, and they drain it because it fills up with fluid, and they drain it to try to. But if they sometimes they just can't drain it fast enough, and they put on mine. They would put they put a cast on your ear.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah, and it's not comfortable. Yeah, Dr. Baserto was the guy who did it. He was at student health, and we would go over there, and he would be like, I still remember this guy, and Dr. Baserto, like Coach told me, he's like, this guy was like a Mexican Olympian wrestler, so he knew about cauliflower ear. And I just remember he was a character, but I just remember
Rub these 2 stones on it, you'll be fine.
Yeah. He put the cast on. He was putting the cast on, but he had his nurse or the other doctor there, and he was like, "Oh, these guys, they try to kill each other. They try to kill each other. That's what these guys, they try to kill each other." You know, like, yeah.
Got him to work though.
Yeah, Dr. Basurdo. Yeah, he did my ear.
Another thing I learned about amateur wrestling today is that not everyone wears singlets anymore. Is that right?
Yeah, you can wear what they call it's pretty cool, like compression shorts and
the singlet is the one piece, skin tight outfit that wrestlers.
Yeah, it's like fighting shorts and a compression shirt, I think, and it looks pretty cool. Not as many teams are doing it. I think in college Maryland does it, but yeah,
I learned that this is because they changed the rules about this at some point in the last 10 years because lower numbers of wrestlers, and they thought people are embarrassed to be showing their package,
it was a
basically.
stupid thing that wrestling kind of is real. Well, this is the way we've done it, and that's how you're going to do it. And it's like it is like for a kid, for an 8-year-old kid or whatever. Sometimes that singlet seems a little ridiculous to wear, and
it's usually real baggy. Anyway.
Yeah, and it's so we should have like got rid of that thing a long time ago. In my mind, I mean, I don't care. It doesn't bother me. It doesn't. And I think most college athletes, it doesn't bother. But I think for kids, it's the right idea. Get it, or give them an option. Because I do think when you're a kid, you make decisions for weird reasons. You're like, well, I don't want to wear that stupid thing, so I'm not going to wrestle.
Sure, and if that holds you back, then that's not good.
Yeah,
you could be have a potentially fun time. Experience that. You did the Fully Loaded at Sea with Bert Kreischer.
Yeah, man.
Tell me about that.
That was awesome. God, that was fun.
It was last year at some point? Or
right, I think in the fall.
Okay.
Yeah, it was.
How long? How many days?
Like 3 or 4 days, and it was
short and sweet.
Yeah, but I mean, it was action packed, and Bert's been such a good guy to me. I mean, we're friends, but we don't know each other that well, and he's just been an advocate, and he's helped me out a lot, and we got the call, and I was like, yeah, man, and I didn't know what to make of it. I didn't know what to think. I was like, this is gonna be obviously like 3,000 people that love Bert and Bert's comedy. And it was 3,000 people that liked stand-up comedy, that were like stand-up comedy nerds. Like you could just talking to them in the hall, like they knew stuff that they're not just Bert fans.
Yeah,
they're the biggest Bert fans, but it was amazing. Like, and it's just I think I did 3 shows. They put me and Giannis Papas together on a show, and we did 3 shows, and the people showed up for all the shows, and they were awesome. And I got to meet. I've been around, so I know most comics, but I didn't. I met some new comics, made friends with some people. Giannis, Catherine Blanford. I didn't know her. She's so funny and so cool and so fun to hang out with.
You didn't leave with an injury like Sean Patton did when he.
Did Patton get hurt on the thing?
Oh yeah, he blew out something in his leg.
That man
doing karaoke.
Yeah, karaoke was insane, man. Karaoke was like. At 1 a.m, and
sober.
Yeah, no, and Bert's wife Leanne just was like the feature act every night in karaoke. She was awesome.
No kidding.
And then they had this.
Did you sing?
No, I didn't. And I didn't want to ruin the cruise. I did. And they had I think the band was called the Docksiders. I'm not sure, but it was like a yacht rock band.
Oh, fun!
And it was my favorite thing. You just stand up on the ship and just listen to these guys. They were so good.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, man. It was a ton of fun. There's I like to gamble a lot, so there was gambling. There's casino there.
Oh sure.
Yeah. It was great, man. It was, and I had so many fun comics. Sean, I hadn't seen Sean since the New York days, and Mark Norman. I used to live in New York and hang out with those guys, and then Jim Norton was there. I went and watched his show. It was so good. Shang Wang. I hadn't seen Shang's new act in a while, and it's fantastic.
Love it.
Yeah. I mean, it was a lot of, I don't seek out comedy that often because I'm just around it so much.
Yeah.
You just watch it sort of de facto. You just watch it by osmosis.
Sure.
But I was like, I'm gonna go watch some shows. And Catherine was, she's really really funny. She's gonna be a superstar, I think. And, so it was, And Bert's new hour that he's working on. Watch out for that. He's got this traffic cone bit that he's. That was back in the fall, and I'm like, oh, there's the cornerstone of the new hour, I would imagine. I'm sure he's got some other stuff, but I was like, this his new hour is going to be real good.
I saw that you were out in L.A. when they had that Netflix as a joke.
A
few weeks ago.
Yeah, I was in the festival.
Awesome.
I had I did a show on the West Side in Santa Monica. I did my show, and
did you end up at the roast of Tom Brady?
I did not. My friend, who is from St. Louis, and she went to my high school. We didn't go together because she's much younger. Nikki Glazer apparently just killed it on that thing.
Yeah. Yes, she did well.
And I got to see her out there, not at the roast. But yeah, I did some fun stuff though. I was like, man, usually when I go to LA, I just stay. My buddy Mark Gross, a guy that used to work for Lewis back in the day. He was like everybody's favorite guy to work the road with, and he's a big TV writer now.
Okay.
And he's my best friend, and I stay at his place. But it's like, it takes you 45 minutes to get to Hollywood from where he lives. It's beautiful. It's up in the mountains. So like, I'm just gonna stay up there with Mark and then come down for the show. And then I was like, no, man, go do the stuff. So I went and watched Berbig's new hour. I went and watched Aaron Weber's show at the Improv, and then wound up hopping on that show. And Nate got on that show too, and then Nikki came out that night. It was like a big party.
Wow!
And then I ran Tom and Bert's 5K.
The Two Bears 5K?
Yeah, I ran
you
in the
did?
5. Yeah. That was a blast. And they had like there's a party in the Rose Bowl afterwards. I hung out on the field of the Rose Bowl for like 4 hours, and that was great, man. Yeah, those guys do a lot of cool stuff. And then I had my show, and it was a cool Hollywood week. I don't get out there that often anymore, so I was like, oh man, this is really fun.
When's your next 5K?
The next time Bert and Tom have one, and I assess that I have to do. I used to run. Like, I was a pretty good runner in my like maybe till about mid-30s, and then it just some stuff. Just injuries piled it up. I'm like, it just doesn't make sense for me to run. So I've probably run 7 times in the last 15 years. So my agent was like, hey, they want you to do this 5K. And I'm like, okay, I don't know if I can do it. I work out and stuff, but running's a different thing. So I ran 3 miles on a treadmill like the week before. And I was like, okay, I did it. And it wasn't slow. It wasn't, real fast. And I was like, I did it. And then I immediately got a cold. I got sick, like, just because my body's like, you're not supposed to do this. And I was like, I was sick for like 3 days. I'm like, I don't think I can do it. And then I landed in LA, and I'm taking the rental car. I'm driving up to Marks. And I'm like, I have to do this. Even if I die, I have to do this. And I wound up.
Wow.
I did it. And it was so much fun, man. And I don't know. I just my body kicked in. I ran it in pretty good time. I found these. Couple younger guys, Zoltan and Dustin Nickerson. Those guys, I was like, all right, I'm just gonna try to hang with these guys. So I just ran with them the whole time. It was a blast, man.
What kind of drugs did you take to wake yourself up that morning?
I think I allowed myself a little caffeine. Really, yeah. That's about it, man. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Impressive.
Yeah.
Very impressive. What's a fair price for Jif peanut butter these days?
Man, I don't have my eye on the price points anymore, but I think if I had to guess, back when I was in the business, they were probably every day for an 18-ounce jar, which is that's the main size. That's 18 ounces where. Don't be fooled. There's big sizes. There's a 40. There's a 28. There's a twin packet club. There's a 4-pound. That's all stuff. But like the main size is 18 ounce. Like that's where the wars are fought or whatever. That's where you're comparing prices. I would say back in the day on the shelf, probably $2.39, $2.49, and then maybe you get a $1.79. Price reduction, or maybe like $1.99, what they call TPR, temporary price reduction, and then an ad. If it's an ad, it's like one of the main grocery, items that they're featuring. Maybe a 2 for $3 back then. Now today, I bet you every day on the shelf, 18 ounce. I bet it's over $3. I bet you're probably $3.19 or something.
So I looked something up, and it's going to combine Walgreens.
Well, Walgreens is going to have an inflated price. Groceries where you buy your peanut butter.
Here's a story. Another major retailer just announced big summer savings as inflation continues to pinch consumers' pockets beginning yesterday. Walgreens will start to lower prices on more than 1,300 store brands and other brands, blah, blah,
Target
blah,
just
blah,
did it too, right?
Yes, along with Target and some other stores. Yep, correct. So I looked up on their site how much they sell Jif for. And we don't have time to get into this, but there's a whole shrinkflation thing about sizes. And
they're not doing that, though, I don't think. It's not an 18 ounce anymore?
It's 16 now, sir.
Okay, wait a minute.
Yep.
Yeah, wait a minute.
Yep. I'm cracking open the this is
I wonder if that's a Walgreens specific package or something, man.
Wow, and we might be getting too deep here.
Well, here's the thing. Here's what I don't like about your research, all right? Is you got to go to the shelf, man. You can't be doing this on the internet. You got to go to the shelf. I want, like when I walked in to call on Kroger and sell them a new item or tell them what's going on in the peanut butter category, I would say, hey, man, here's what's going on in the stores. They're like, how do you know? I'm like, because I was there this morning. I hit up all your competitors. I hit up everybody in the market. Here's a price list. Here's what's going on. What you're doing this deep dive stuff on the internet. You got to be where the rubber meets the road, man.
I'm sitting in a bathtub doing this research.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Be at the shelf, man. Tell me, be at the shelf. Tell me what's going on.
You're right.
Because honestly, this 16 ounce shrinkflation thing they moved 18 ounce to 16 ounce Jif. That sounds like something that a Skippy PR person would pull. Like that sounds like a story that those guys would plant. Frankly.
Jif 16 ounce, 2 for $8 or $4.29 each.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now here's the thing.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. Walgreens is always going to be more expensive than the grocery store.
Convenience.
You're going to pay more. Like if you want to buy peanut butter and buy it cheap, probably go to Walmart or Target or a club store.
True.
The grocery store is going to be more competitive than Walgreens. Walgreens, if you're buying peanut butter at Walgreens, it's like you're buying, you know.
What do you have, an emergency?
Yeah, if you have an emergency, exactly. That's it. Yeah, you're buying it there. It would be like, I buy most of my clothing at the hotel gift shop. It's not that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Oh, they have nice. It's all the same stuff, just a little more.
Yeah, just a little bit more. Yeah.
A lot more.
I mean, I buy books at the airport, which is stupid.
Yeah, that's a terrible idea.
Yeah. I buy books at the airport.
Do what I hear Mark Norman does on his podcast. He talks about all the time. He just grabs stuff from those Hudson News and walks away.
Oh yeah, that's stealing. I think. That's shoplifting.
I know.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you're not supposed to do that. Yeah.
It's got a great price though.
Yeah, it does.
Great
Yeah.
price.
That guy's hilarious.
Oh,
by the
yes.
way. And I didn't know he was a shoplifter, but he's hilarious.
This is from his mouth. I'm not, I wasn't with him and watching him, telling on him. I've heard him say that.
And a nice guy, man. You wouldn't know. His act is sometimes he's very sarcastic. But he's a pretty thoughtful guy. Man.
Oh yeah, he's great. He's been on this podcast.
Has he?
He's great.
He's great, man.
I think we're at time. Is there anything else we should be mentioning? Follow you on social media. Obviously, come see the shows here at Acme this week.
Oh, that'd be great. Yeah.
Well, you're still here. Anything else?
No, man. I'd like to circle back on this 18 ounce, 16 ounce thing. If I don't know. Next time I come, I'd like you to at least. I'm just saying, get out to the stores is all. Yeah.
You're right.
Okay.
You're absolutely right. Yeah. Next time I'll do my part. I'll probably hit you up for some money and then we'll buy some samples.
Okay. I'm fine with it. As long as it's like this isn't journalism, okay? This is not journalism.
I dropped out of college, Greg.
Yeah. You get out there and see the things, man. There's a lot of action in the grocery stores.
Thank you, sir.